Here's Johnny.
Hey, yo, friends. In Madness family. Welcome back. Episode 151. The rare part 2 of a movie coverage. We've been sticking to the one show movie episodes lately, and I like the way that that's going. A new flow for In Madness Pod. But for this was one of the big ones. This was one of the first names we brought up when we agreed to start way back at episode 1 of the In Madness Pod. It's Shawn the Butcher here with Vertebrae33. How's it going?
Shawn, what's going on, man? I'm all, you can see on camera, I'm all bundled up.
Bundled up.
I'm ready. We may have another storm coming, but there's definitely a storm coming in this movie.
Shit, yeah,
so I got myself all bundled up, and I've got my Shining scrapbook, and I've got my making of Shining book right here. Looks like
I'm expecting
Holy Bible.
So right now, if you can't see us, he's got two hands up and they're holding books. However, I'm expecting like more hands with more books to pop up.
That'd be
behind
amazing.
You.
Yes.
So creepy.
And then like I would just be like, and I bought this one on this website, and I bought that one on that website.
And then
so when you're driving your cars, if you're on your treadmill or wherever you're enjoying In Madness Pod, we'll post pictures of this online. Shawn, before you give your introduction,
go ahead.
If you're new to the podcast,
welcome.
If you've jumped on to the podcast,
where have you been all this time?
Where have you been? We're on episode 151,
season 3.
You know, we talk about movies and stuff and things, and we used to have 0.5s, and we used to
don't mind the old numbering system.
And now we make short episodes, but we still make long episodes, and we split them in half. And we just basically, we're a horror podcast, but now we talk about everything we want to talk about. Yeah, we talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Edward Scissorhands.
If you're down, and we welcome you into the In Madness podcast family, but also, if this is the first time you're listening to this podcast, I don't know where you were for part 1 of The Shining.
Yeah, for real.
If you tune in next week, yours truly is going to go on an incredible rant.
Oh my God. I'm not even going to have anything prepared next week. I'm just going to hit record and point at you.
The dogs, as Shawn's like to say, will be off the leash, and we are going to rant and rave with the best of them.
I am too, or is it just going to be you and your disgruntledness over books and such?
I think it's just going to be you and all of my chaotic dissonance that I shall unleash.
If you're new here,
new podcast.
This entire podcast was launched because I was the crazy one, and Vertebrae was like, "I think we should do a podcast together," because he was the calm, soft-spoken Stephen Graham Jones type. But now,
that's right. I'm all angry.
Now
got me all angry.
I'm kind of just trying to steer the ship as Vertebrae is in the back, the wild card, losing his goddamn mind.
Yeah, I love it. Last time I had a rant, and then a couple people afterwards were like, "We waited the entire episode for a rant." You just seemed mildly annoyed.
But
But chaotic dissonance, Shawn. I just said that. That's a band name.
Check it off.
And if you're playing at home,
if you're new here, we come up with band names on pretty much every episode.
Right. And we still have that outgoing contest. You give us all the band names that we came up with on every episode, all 151 of them, and you will get an amazing prize pack.
And I mean, honestly, we're not going back and double checking. So even if you're not right, we have no other choice but to be like,
enough.
Yeah, this is accurate enough. And then send out the prize pack.
Yeah.
So we also give away prizes here on the premiere podcast. It's In Madness Pod. We are on the socials, if you don't know already, at In Madness Pod, inmadnesspod@gmail.com. If you want to help us get them YouTube numbers up, so it's more than just mine and Vertebrae's parents watching the YouTube. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Vertebrae Mom. Hi, Vertebrae Dad. We are on YouTube as well. No matter where you're watching or listening, make sure you like, and subscribe, give the double taps and comment and give us 5-star reviews. Interact with us. This is a multi-tiered podcast. It's not just me and Vertebrae talking. We want you in on the chat as well. You could send us emails and voice notes, however you want, inmadnesspod@gmail.com. We'll probably add some songs. I have it in my notes to the In Madness Spotify playlist, which is up to 16 plus hours. It is one of the greatest playlists of all time. Happy In Madness Monday. If that's when you're listening, new episodes every Monday, no matter what, which is why you got to spread the madness. Tell everybody you know about this show. And if you want to represent even harder than that, get yourself a shirt and a mug at inmadness.com. Oh, Vertebrae's got the shirt. And the next question is, what do you have for the mug?
Oh, Shawn, I'm going to disappoint you.
It's not an In Madness mug.
It's a repeat.
Oh, it's a repeat.
Well, come on. It's a two-parter. I only have one shining mug.
One shining mug. Gotcha.
I want a shinning mug next. I want to get a shinning mug, but I should have gotten the mug. There is a mug that has like the carpet pattern on it. I need to own one of those mugs. So I apologize for repeating. I very rarely repeat back to back. So I did it for this one. But if you're angry about it, you could just send me a new mug, and then I won't have to repeat.
If you have a shining mug and you're listening along at home, please post a picture of it on the socials and tag us at In Madness Pod. We will repost your shining mug. Is there anything you want to get into before I hit this slight recap that I have made 5 minutes before we started?
So I dug into this 2-volume set that I got from Tashin, and more on them next week. So I went through the scrapbook. I sent you a couple of pictures. We talked about in the last episode about whether they used a helicopter or not. There are pictures of the helicopter. There were lots of photos of the massive sets that they built on L Street Studios, where it's just basically, I don't even know what they filmed at any of the hotels. It looks like they just built like pretty much everything. It was just absolutely incredible. There was lots of it listed in the book as continuity Polaroids. And I'm assuming that just meant like, hey, Shawn looks like this now. His hair looks like this now. We're taking a break, take a Polaroid. And when we get back to filming, we know, that's how he looked before. I'm assuming. And then I started reading the making of book, the red one that I had held up. And it's very cool. It's very well written. It's like a combo of this famous movie. I don't know. I should have got his name, but he's a producer and a director. I think he worked on Toy Story 2, if I remember correctly, off the top of my head. I didn't write it down. But it's because in my mind, it was overshadowed by J.W. Rinsler. This was his last book. J.W. Rinsler famously wrote a lot of making of Star Wars books. He wrote making of Alien, a Planet of the Apes book. Incredible dude. Once shouted me out sort of on his YouTube channel when I asked a question about a book, and I used the name Vertebrae33, and he said it, which was fantastic. And it's just, he writes in a way that's very easy to read and very enjoyable. So I read a little bit of it. I have to get into more of it, Shawn. I'm, excited, but it's a thick tome. So I don't know when I'm going to get to the rest of it, but there was an opening with Spielberg in there writing about it. And he was talking about like how so much of this film is like kind of like Daylight, but still, it wasn't like a traditional horror movie where it's a lot of things jumping out of the dark, but still creeping you out the whole time. So both Spielberg and I on board for Daylight horror 100%. And then the other thing I want to mention is we talked a little bit about Kubrick. There's a really cool documentary. It's less than an hour long. I think it's like 47 minutes, 48 minutes, called Kubrick's Boxes. And if you've not seen it, it will take you through. Somebody gets to go to his, land, and there's, when you're that rich, it's your estate, and there's multiple buildings on this property that have like names, and some of these buildings are just full of boxes. And they get into all these boxes, including boxes of like he hired a photographer when he was doing Eyes Wide Shut to like take photos of like doorways and entrances and fronts of buildings in London for like a year. It was like the guy's like full-time job was just get up every day and like take more photographs. So there's boxes of that. There's also very odd memos that he writes to his staff, Shawn, because he, so loaded. Like you and I, we have a massive staff that works for us here at the
Yeah,
In
yeah,
Madness.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The same
Yeah, the
thing,
In
very
Madness
similar.
minions. Yeah.
Very similar. But they mentioned, and I'm not going to give much away from it, but I wanted to tell you this one memo that he had was essentially like he had all these cats and he was worried that the cats were killing too many of the birds on the property. So this memo basically tells them that they need to figure out a way to put bells around the cats' necks,
To
but then
warn the
have
birds.
but to warn the birds, but they didn't want them to hang themselves or choke themselves. So can we make like a breakaway
Breakaway
collar?
collar. Yeah.
So they cut it and sewed it back together and had a special for
Because they
this
didn't have
cat.
breakaway collars back then. They got them
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. This is what these are memos like this. And one other one asking them what the barometric pressure of London was like 2 weeks ago or something. Just, as he could do. So I think my new thing, Shawn, is I'm going to start giving you memos. I'm going to
Memos.
start sending you some
Great.
memos.
That's
But
what I need.
modern age, I think it'll be notes on here, and they're just going to be random questions that I have that pop into my head as I'm viewing some of these
Vertebrae's
these
Kubrick thoughts.
my Kubrick thoughts. But yes, Kubrick's boxes. I was very impressed with this collection. You should see it. It's on YouTube. It's less than an hour. It's very interesting to see it. They even get into like the types of boxes and stuff a little bit. Very, very cool. So check that out. And now, unfortunately, we're gonna have to move on after this movie to other stuff. And I'm still stuck in Kubrick / Shining Zone.
I gotta send you the video our buddy Capozzi sent me on Instagram, and it's a recording of Kubrick explaining the ending of Space Odyssey 2001.
Oh yes, I saw it.
And and Capozzi's like, even more horrifying now with like him explaining
Nice.
it. And it
Yeah.
was very helpful because I'll be honest, I didn't understand the end of Space Odyssey 2001 at all.
Right.
And like sometimes I need things to be told to me, and having Kubrick explain it as visuals are shown on the screen, I was like,
Right.
this is very pleasant.
There is actually a short, like it's about a half-hour long documentary that's on like the Blu-ray, and you can find on YouTube, like the making of The Shining. And it's not like the standard, it's just like footage of them. There's no like narrator or whatever. They cut to people like the cast talking. And but I think like Shelley Duvall, like maybe she passes out or something when they're filming, so she's laying down, and I think it's Kubrick's mom's like talking to her about it. And Jack Nicholson is just acting very weird throughout it, and they're filming with the camera, and he's about to go in the bathroom, and he's like, "Hey, you want to film me going?" And like all this, it's weird. And Kubrick, it feels like he knows the camera's on him, but he's very. There's lots of lens talk, like, "Oh, get the 25, get the 145," like that type of stuff. They're very like almost old timey director kind of thing going on, but it's a weird little thing. If you watch that and Kubrick's boxes, it's very interesting. But it's about, I think it's 35 minutes, and it's just sort of filmed freeform when they're on the set, and when sees what's you see what's going on. And it's interesting because he kind of didn't want people to have access all the time to things, and he wanted to create this mysterious art, but he encouraged and allowed this to happen. So it's pretty interesting.
Still a hell of a mysterious and weird dude.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I think recently they sold that property off. The family kind of sold it off but like, you watch that and you're like, man, how cool would it be to have like
some of
property where you just have like buildings? Like you just have a building of
full
like
of jargon, full of books and comics,
yeah,
Godzilla statues.
Like, Shawn, come visit me, and you're gonna stay in building 6.
Yeah, that's the C3PO building.
Exactly. All the toilets are gold,
and they complain.
Exactly.
Shall we get into the recap of last week's episode, part 1 of this was part of the voting poll. We put it up for the In Madness Psychopaths as part of the new gig for 2026 of In Madness Pod. We are letting you vote on one movie. I'd say every like month and a half to maybe 2 months. So this was a landslide victory. We started it last week, episode 150. This is now the follow-up, the sequel, the gripping, thrilling conclusion of The Shining. So just to recap real quick, we got the Overlook Hotel built on an ancient Indian burial ground. Don't forget about that part. A few years back, we got the caretaker Grady. He went berserk, wouldn't you know it? Murdered his whole family, wife and 2 daughters. Now we got our 4 main characters. We got Jack, who's hired as the caretaker. He's in love with the Overlook. We got poor Wendy, Jack's wife, caught in this abusive ass relationship with her husband, trying to work her way through this. And we got creepy son Danny with his shining mind powers, courtesy of his imaginary friend Tony. And then we got Dick Halloran, the head chef here at the Overlook, who also has shining mind powers and can communicate with Danny telepathically. Danny keeps having these terrible visions inside the hotel, dead kids, blood, all the horrors this place holds. He can see it, especially in room 237, the hauntedest room in the entirety of the Overlook Hotel, which he is instructed not to go into. So, of course, he does. But he is not as messed up as his dad, Jack, who is slowly giving into the spell of this hotel. He hasn't slept in days. He's losing his mind, but he's got lots of work to do. He's also trying to write a new book as he's losing his mind. He's fighting with Wendy because Danny goes in room 237, comes out hella messed up, and Wendy figures no one else is in this hotel. It must be your crazy ass because drunkenly Jack has hurt Danny before. This is why Jack stopped drinking. So now Jack's mad. He makes his way to the empty bar, the gold room, the party lounge here at the Overlook. He is infuriated by these accusations and he's slowly losing his mind. He sits at the bar and says he would sell his soul for just a glass of beer. And this is where we left you last week on In Maddest Pod.
Here we go.
So he looks behind the bar and he goes, "Hi, Lloyd." He looks around. He starts cackling like a maniac. And across from Jack, now all of a sudden, is a man behind the bar. This is one of my favorite characters in a movie ever. Lloyd, the devil. He's even dressed in a red suit. The lapels are sharp and pointing up like devil horns. And there's the bar, once empty, now fully stocked, top shelf, everything you could want.
And that is Joe Turkel, and he's also known in Blade Runner as Dr. Eldon Tyrell. So he's Tyrell Corporation, who makes all the replicants, and he's the doctor who created the replicants. So very cool.
Lloyd pours Jack a nice fat glass of Jack Daniels on the rock, but Jack doesn't have any money for this drink. Lloyd assures him his credit is fine here. Jack always liked Lloyd. I use this quote all the time. Best damn bartender from Timbuktu to Portland, Maine. Or Portland, Oregon, for that matter. He takes a long, slow gulp of this Jack Daniels. Just absolutely gross. And I think this right here is the moment where we said it in the last episode. He says he would sell his soul for a drink. He's got the drink in his hand. It's poured. It's cold. He drinks it in, and now I think he works for Lloyd. He now works for the Overlook. He was okay, and he had the voices in his head, and he was losing his mind. But this drink seals his deal, and now he is fully locked in with the Overlook.
Right. He either works for Lloyd, Shawn, or he works for Ullman.
Which is, yeah.
Because there's some stuff we're going to talk about later that when I realized this, I thought, Shawn's correct. Shawn is right.
Ullman is a pawn, and Ullman is Jack's boss. He's the dude who does the interview in the beginning of this movie, and I'm convinced that like the hotel is using him as a vessel to recruit people to murder and feed the Overlook blood that it so desperately craves on a however year-long basis.
Right. And there's been lots of tragedies. We touched on it, and we mentioned in part 1 about the caretaker situation. Like, why would they get another caretaker? But, you know, Grady, the caretaker, is just one person that had an issue. There's lots of other people in other rooms. It's actually in the book I have too. In the beginning, there's like newspaper clippings of all the other incidents. In the book The Shining, they sort of mention all these other things that kind of mysteriously happened. This person was killed. This person was injured. Somebody's got to cover all this stuff up. And on the surface, you would think somebody like Ullman would cover it up because they work there and they want to continue to work there. But now, Shawn, you've got my brain spinning to say he's covering it up because he's in on it.
He's in on it. This is what's best for business for Ullman. He wants to keep people coming there and making that money, but he also has to feed the Overlook to keep all that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd's chatting with Jack, asking him what's wrong, and Jack is discussing his current marital problems. It's nothing he can't handle. He vents to Lloyd about how he injured Danny just once. He loves Danny, he'd do anything for him, but he hates Wendy because she never lets him forget about it. Because one night, probably while drunk, he accidentally broke Danny's arm because he'd thrown a bunch of his papers around.
Yeah.
In comes Wendy, screaming, holding a bat. Walks into the gold room. The bar is now completely empty. Lloyd is gone. Wendy tells Jack there's a crazy lady in room 237. She tried to strangle Danny. Jack, even though he just had himself a little supernatural experience with Lloyd, tells Wendy she's out of her fucking mind. There's nobody in the hotel, but Wendy insists because Danny told her. Now we're in Miami, Florida. Halloran is enjoying himself. He's got his feet out. He's got his little booby pictures on the wall. He's laying in bed.
A hell of a bachelor pad.
He's watching the news. He's got like red velvet walls. It's just the perfectly made bed, like iron fledged golden.
I just love that this is what he's there
on vacation,
and he's the cook, throughout the year, and then he just gets to chill. Like without off. It's awesome.
It's sweltering hot where he's at in Florida, but the weather where the Overlook is horrible. It's snowmageddon once again. As Halloran is watching, this eerie high-pitched noise is crescendoing in the background. The sound design on this whole movie, whatever, like the soundtrack or whatever it is so well done because it's just like high strings that slowly get higher and higher. And then at one point, there's just a heartbeat happening that I didn't pick up on forever.
Right. Yes.
And I'm like, it just makes you uncomfortable in every bone of your body watching this. And it's more than the actors. It's the soundtrack as well. It's so well done.
It's so cool. The only thing that took me out of this scene a little bit was that they would specifically talk about Denver's or Colorado's weather when he's in Miami.
Florida. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and they kind of focused in on it a little bit. It's not even like there's no like it wasn't a cable TV channel. It's just like a local TV channel. And I thought that was really funny that that's very like TV show. Like we gotta knot this up very quickly.
Convenient.
Let's get it done. Yep.
Halloran's relaxed facial expression quickly changes to one of absolute horror. We see the door of 237 open. We see Danny in bed. He's like having a seizure. He's got spittle hanging from his face. He's using his shining powers to communicate with Halloran. Jack walks into 237, and in the bathtub is a naked young woman. And immediately Jack is stoked. She gets out, walks over to him, and I'm noticing this bathroom has two toilets next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Would you poop with me and hold hands? Why are there two toilets next to each? I get two sinks. Why would there be
one of them? Maybe one of them's a bidet. Maybe, perhaps one of them's a bidet. But I mean, no, there's no co-pilot shitting situation going on. That's not happening. Absolutely not. I do love the look and feel of this whole bathroom, and
it's very like 70s, even though it was filmed in 1980. It's still very 70s.
This movie is the color palette of this movie is just incredible. We're going to get another bathroom later on that's just striking, but accompanying these visuals and these sounds, like when you just mold all that together, you get a little soundtrack, you get some sound design, you get just beautiful. This film, Shawn, on 4K, and I got the 4K version that I bought 2 years ago when I was like, we're going to do this on the podcast, and opened it up for, to view it for this. This movie is so beautiful. And it is so crystal clear and amazing when you watch it in 4K. And it's not like 4K fake, which happens to some movies, because it's Kubrick filming this with the best film he could have, and the best lenses and the best cameras, and it's just incredible. It looks so much richer and so much better than a lot of movies that are being filmed right now. Very, very well done. Did you watch this? Did you watch this on like some dusty old VHS?
I know, no.
Okay.
During the snowstorm, I watched it on HBO Max, I think, and then it vanished the week we decided to record for the podcast. I own it on DVD, just regular ass,
Okay.
beta DVD.
Mm.
So I watched it on that, and I bought it. I remember I still have it's a cool case. It's unlike any other DVD case I have. It's a cardboard sort of box, and there's a black flap, like a plastic flap, and you just flap it open and then it opens up. It's very cool. But the day I saw The Shining, the next morning I woke up and ordered the movie on DVD.
Nice. Yeah, they HBO Max got something against us.
Yeah,
This is
I mean, they
happening
know.
more than once
They
with
know.
HBO Max. Is
They
somebody
listen to
that
the
works
pod,
there
and they know
listening
we're
to
gonna
the
do it.
podcast,
Yeah.
messing with us? Is this our beef that we
Yeah,
wanted for so
HBO
long?
beef.
No, not HBO.
That's how I
beef. We
watch
didn't
all
do
these
that.
movies.
Yeah.
Jack and this naked lady start making out till Jack looks in the mirror and behind her sees that she's rotting. She begins laughing. Now she's an old witchy looking woman lurking towards him. He's scared as hell. He runs out of the room and locks the door.
Oh, then and there's a couple pictures in that book of like her like in between takes where she's just laying in the bed next to Jack Nicholson with all that stuff, all the prosthetics on and everything. This is so we're getting a lot of, and we haven't mentioned this a while on the podcast, Shawn, but I don't know how many instances there are, but we're certainly getting a lot of sins here, a lot of deadly sins. And I think, vanity could be one of them. Gluttony is in there. Sloth, greed. It's all
Hell yeah.
lust. I think they all exist in here. I bet you, and I didn't look it up, but I bet if we were to type in Google right now, 7 Deadly Sins and The Shining, somebody would have a whole document about it, because this movie is one of the most, it's part of the reason why I was like, I'm not going to put a million gnarly bits in this, because there are theories, there are whole papers, people, scholarly journals have talked about this movie. There's that documentary. Did you see the Room 237 documentary with all the theories and everything? This has, spawned all of that. And if you're into that stuff, send them in. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us if you got
what's
any
your
belief.
Shining conspiracy theory?
Yeah, we'd love to hear it.
Halloran tries to call the hotel, no dice. Jack goes back to Wendy, tells her there's no one in room 237. Wendy's confused. What the hell is going on? Who bruised Danny's neck? Jack blames Danny, says he did it to himself. Wendy doesn't believe it. We see Danny in bed. His eyes are wide open in horror. We see red rum written on the door. Wendy wants to leave with Danny, and immediately Jack gets pissed. We see Danny with his mouth wide open in horror. The elevator door is releasing the geyser of blood. Jack blames Wendy for every problem in his miserable little life, says she will not fuck up this job for him, and he storms off.
It's a lot.
Again,
it's a lot.
You're feeling left absolutely horrified for this poor woman.
Yeah.
Danny's all messed up, says there's crazy people in the hotel. Jack is asshole of assholes, yelling and blaming Wendy for everything. This woman is left sitting on a bed crying with no understanding of what is going on, no way of communicating with the outside world for help, just a miserable existence.
Yeah, Shelley Duvall does a great job in this. Again, having rewatched it for this, I don't think she comes across as helpless as kind of people said, and I hadn't thought it.
She
then
grabs
people talked
weapons
about it
immediately.
Yeah. I think she's not as weak of a character. Yeah, she does a lot of like screaming and yelling, but I mean,
you're being chased with an axe,
rightfully so. Yeah, for sure.
You telling me you wouldn't be yelling and screaming and chase with an axe? Yeah, everybody's Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Everybody's Macho Man Randy Savage. Nobody's being a wuss when they're getting chased after with a knife. Everyone's like shirtless, covered in oil, running in slow
Oh my
motion.
God.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
quite a visual. But I'm not a screamer and yeller. I would be running for my life, but I think I'd be quiet. I'm not like screaming, but I would be terrified. I wouldn't be tough about any of this. But I don't know. I mean, you've got us, trapped in the Overlook, pooping next to each other. This
Holding
is
hands.
Yeah. And again, we're only been there for 4 hours. This is when Omen comes
I
in and
ate
says,
all the Oreos.
I
peanut
haven't
butter.
even left yet, guys. You're the worst caretakers we ever had.
Worse than Grady? Really?
You're the worst caretakers we ever had, and these people killed people. That's how bad you guys are.
I told you guys suck. Jack's having himself a little tantrum through the hotel, knocking things over, but he stops because he hears music and looks down the hall, and there's balloons and streamers everywhere. A party's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Halloran calls a ranger and asks him to do a wellness check on the family at the Overlook. Jack walks back in the gold room. Fancy old-timey music playing. I don't know the name of this song, but it's like whatever the name it is, I'm going to look it up, and if it's on Spotify, I'm going to add it to the In Madness Spotify playlist.
Perfect.
Now the gold room is packed. Everybody is there partying, especially our pal Lloyd. He pours Jack a drink, but now Jack somehow, he didn't have money before. Now he's got a wad of cash in his wallet.
Well, the dream, the visions, the whatever are starting to really expand now, because it was like, it was just one person. And now you open the gateway by taking that drink and making the pact with the devil. And now we can really hit you hard with all these other visions.
Lloyd tells Jack his money's no good here. Orders from the house. Jack's curious. I'm the kind of guy who likes to know who's buying his drinks, Lloyd. Lloyd tells him, don't worry about it. Not now. Jack's got his liquor. He's happy. He's got his little fistful of nuts or whatever. He's dancing. He's having a great time.
Yeah, party.
Then we got our waiter. Bumps right into him with this green, slimy avocado drink and dumps it all. And like Jack's got the felt jacket and just all of this slime on the jacket, his pants, his shirt, just completely drenched in this shit. And then this dude starts cleaning up and he's like, oh, this is bad. It tends to stain. And he's like, great, I'm totally screwed. And he's like, I'm going to take you to the bathroom and clean you up. And I love it. Because as they're going, they're having a polite chat with each other. And as they're going to the bathroom, Jack, who's covered in this green goo, he pats the dude on the back and like wipes his hand down. And all over the dude's back is just this handprint of green slime. It's pretty funny.
And this is all intentional. Now that moment is intentional. No, nothing accidental here. Nothing.
It's all part of the plan.
Yes.
They're all joking around. Jack's calling him Jeevesy, old boy, telling him he intends to change his jacket before the fish and goose soiree. They're joking. They're having a splendid time. They're in this awesome, bright red bathroom. When I get my first billion and I do the Kubrick houses on my property, I want one of my bathrooms to look like this bathroom. Bright red, white, fluorescent lighting, blinding. I love it. I love this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, this is certainly like, I wrote in my notes, look at this far out red bathroom. The deal is here, Shawn, this is, there's a lot of foreshadowing in this movie. So we've had the blood coming out of the elevators and all of this anger. And this is what we're moving into right now. This red is totally intentional for us to kind of know what's coming. But my family did once have a red bathroom, Shawn. We'll talk about that one day. So, my mom's listening. She'll be like, oh, I remember that. But
I remember the red bathroom.
Yeah.
Jack asked the man his name. Grady, Delbert Grady, sir.
Dun, dun, dun.
Immediately, Jack recognizes the name and becomes uncomfortable. He asks if they've met before. Grady doesn't think so. Jack asks Grady if he was the caretaker here. Grady's like, no, why are you asking? Jack asks Grady if he's married. He is. Wife, 2 kids. Jack's like, where are they at? Grady doesn't know. Jack stops Grady from cleaning him. He's patting him down, trying to get the avocado drink off. Jack stops everything. He's looking at him like, I got you. Jack tells Grady, you were the caretaker. Jack saw his picture in the paper. You chopped your wife and daughter into bits and blew your brains out.
And Shawn, Grady, is the name of the bartender. So Stephen King stays at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado in 1974. And the bartender there that helps him is named Grady. And they stay in room 217, which inspires this novel. And it was right before the winter closure that they went there. So this is like basically the entire novel. And King experiences these vivid nightmares and kind of just this general sort of eerie atmosphere to things. And this leads to it, and a nice little nod to, I guess it's a nice little nod. The nice bartender that you met, you just
is the devil.
Yeah, was just evil. Well, I guess Lloyd is the devil.
Yeah.
Or is the devil reappearing? I don't know. In many forms.
Many. The men are staring at each other. Grady says he has no recollection of being the caretaker or these dead bodies. Jack tells Grady he was the caretaker, and Grady tells Jack, no, you are the caretaker. You've always been the caretaker. I should know because I've always been here. Grady tells Jack his son is reaching out for help. Jack's like, how? Grady says, your son has a great talent, and he's going to use that against your will.
And this scene is so awkward. There's a long pause where they're just kind of this standoff, where they're just staring at each other in this bright red bathroom. Yeah.
Again,
Intense.
Jack blames Wendy for this problem with Danny because she interferes. Grady's egging him on, saying that Jack's family needs a good talking to, perhaps a bit more. Grady tells Jack his little girls didn't like the Overlook. One of them actually tried to burn it down, but Grady corrected them. And then his wife tried to stop him, and then he corrected her.
Yeah.
Back at the apartment, poor Wendy is working on her plan. She's going to take Danny and the snowcat and get out of here. Jack can come if he wants, or he can stay at the Overlook. This poor, poor woman.
Yeah, in this part, she's talking to herself, Shawn. This is where you can hear the beating heart in the background in this scene. It pops up in another spot too, but this is meant to, this is what we're feeling when we're in her world. What are we going to do? And again, I'll say it again. She's formulating a plan. She wants to get the snowcat, get the hell out of there. Jack can stay. It is what it is.
Immediately in the other room, Danny in his weird voice is starting to yell, Red Rob, Red Rob. Poor Wendy is horrified as anybody would be, trying to comfort this psychopath, and she keeps repeating his name. And then the thumping of the heartbeat is just making you panic with this really creepy ambient music. Danny turns to Wendy and goes, Danny's not here, Miss Torrance. Oh no, if it wasn't creepy enough.
Yeah.
She's begging him to wake up. Danny can't wake up. He's gone away, Mrs. Torrance. This poor woman hugs this kid, and now she's just in absolute horror. Tony has fully taken over Danny.
Yeah, I think if I ever get a parrot, Shawn, I want to teach him to say Red Rob,
Red Rob,
Red Rob. I like
I would have such nightmares.
Yeah. There's a bird that I would follow on Instagram that always tries to. There's a video of him trying to fight this lady, and he goes, "You want to fight?" And then he says, "I'm not going to hurt you." And I think of this, like this whole thing. I could picture. Can't you picture Jack saying that in this movie? Like, "You want to fight? I'm not going to hurt you." Like the in this voice. So I think I would get a bird and I would teach it those lines and then Red Rum. So it'd be like, I'm not going to hurt you. Red Rum, Red Rum.
Jack strolling through the hotel. He goes to Ullman's office where the radio is. The Ranger's trying to contact them because Halloran asked KDK1 calling KDK12. Do you read me? So Jack opens the radio, snatches out the two fuses, making this thing completely inoperable. He just pulled a quint, smashing the radio with the bat and Jaws. Now they're totally cut off from the world. Now where the hell are we? You're certifiable.
It's so weird too that's how he decides to dismantle. Like, he could have just like taken the power cord off or something, right? Like he takes the top off and like remove stuff from it, like fuses or transistors or whatever the hell it is. It's so interesting. It's a fascinating. I would love to know. I bet you again, there's probably like a 2-page document somewhere that somebody wrote about this. Like, why is it that he's doing something so almost methodical? It's weird. That's a in a movie full of weird things. I get stuck on things like that where it's like he could have just picked this up and smashed it. He doesn't have to hide it from her that she can't use it. Like, that's something you would do to hide it from somebody. Like, I'll remove those and put the lid back on and they'll never know. But like, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, because I feel like he'd be like, without these, she's never getting this thing to work. But yeah, he could have just smashed it also. But I like how he removes those big ass.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. It's a very fascinating choice by Kubrick for sure.
Now the Ranger tells Halloran, we can't get in contact with anybody at the Overlook. So immediately Halloran's on the first flight there. We still have this heartbeat effect in the background and this terribly eerie, unsettling music.
Yeah, and in the book, he flies first class. It looked like he was first class because it was the only ticket he could get. But, that lunatic is just sitting on a plane, not watching anything, not reading anything. In my time on the Long Island Railroad, Shawn, when I would see people get on and just sit there and stare at the back of the seat,
they call that raw dogging the ride.
I was like, that is crazy.
Yeah, no,
like, I'm on with headphones. I've got this book. I've got
coloring books,
my water. I've got something else. I got a backup game
snacks,
on my phone or whatever. Yeah. That's Halloran just sitting there.
There's weird people who roll through this life very strangely.
Maybe Halloran is sitting there reading people's minds.
Maybe he's sitting there. Yes, maybe he knows everything about everybody on the plane.
That would suck if it was like the pilot, and the pilot was just like, "Oh crap, I never encountered this before," and that's what he's thinking. You're like, no.
Jack's in his study. He's feverishly typing away. Halloran lands in Denver and calls his buddy Larry at the auto spot and tells him he needs to get to the Overlook. He needs a snowcat. Larry wants to know what the rush is. They got a big problem with the family watching the place. Completely unreliable assholes. So now Halloran's got to go take care of everything.
Yeah, and I love Larry. Larry's awesome, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'll take care of you. Like, I got you." Like,
and it's like there's so 3 feet of snow outside, and he's working.
Don't worry.
And he's
I got you.
Halloran has a 5-hour snowy drive from the airport before he even gets to Larry. And on his ride, he sees a truck flipped over onto a car. The roads, the radio saying all the roads, airports, everything is shut down and cut off completely.
He's going to try, man. Good for him.
Back at the Overlook, Danny and Wendy are watching Roadrunner cartoons. Wendy tells Danny she's going to go talk to Jack. Danny looks at her and in Tony's voice says, "Yes, Mrs. Torrance." She leaves but grabs the bat before she goes.
And certainly, Shawn, watching Roadrunner cartoons is no accident. This is more foreshadowing of this whole chase that they're going to have with Jack and Wendy and Danny, right? And Wile E. Coyote is just never going to get the Roadrunner. Yeah.
She heads to Jack's study. It's empty. She's calling to him, looking around for him, and stops at his typewriter. She looks at the paper he's been working on. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. But it's repeated over and over and over again, hundreds of times. And in horror, it's great, the sell on this, because it's just so well done and thought out, because her seeing the typewriter in this written out 100 times is like, oh my God. And then she looks to the left and the camera just like deadpans on the stack of papers. Yeah. And then you're just like watching her go through all of these papers, page after page, the same thing. All work, no play makes Jack a dull boy, showing her just how long this psychopath has been losing his frigging mind.
Right. And if we were still doing movies where you gave it 165 milking of the alpacas moments, this would be another one, because this is, and they're, them being written in different ways, like they're, straight lines across, making a pattern and everything. It's just, in a movie that has a lot of weird moments, it's like, wow, this is really, it's just building and building and building.
It's very effective. And this horrifying music is building in the background again, just making you, if you're not uncomfortable enough, you have this high shriek pitch noise making you super tense. And of course, Jack slowly pops out from around a corner. How do you like it? She screams and clutches the bat, asks her what she's doing. She wants to talk, but she's horrified. She doesn't even know what the hell she wants to talk about. Jack's like, I know what you want to talk about. Danny.
Yeah.
Danny's alone in the apartment, horrified. He can still hear everything Jack is saying to Wendy. He's seeing blood flowing from the elevator. He's seeing red rum written on the door. Jack's stalking Wendy. She's backing away, horrified. Jack thinks something should be done about Danny. Wendy wants to take Danny to a doctor. She's crying. But of course, Jack is angry as usual about his responsibilities here at the Overlook. He will be ruined if he falls back on this deal and does not finish this job. That's all he's concerned about.
Yeah, there's a whole bit because in the book he's kind of an author of some people know him, and he's working on like a play, and so people kind of know him, but he's not big enough to not have to have a job, and so he's kind of going over his head. If we leave here and I go here, what am I going to even do for a job? We're going to set up in whatever town, and I'm going to do nothing, and like he's going through that in his head. So we do get that here as well, just kind of compressed. But yeah, I think Jack is long gone now.
He's done. He's done. He's Lloyd's puppet. Wendy's crying, horrified. She's backing up the steps. She's swinging the bat at Jack, who's creeping at her menacingly, slowly. He wants the bat. She is the light of his life, but he is going to bash her fucking brains in with this bat. So now she knows it's on. It's over. There's no coming back. This is it. He is out to kill her. She is all alone in this place, completely cut off from the world.
And he says, Shawn, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in. So again, I could teach that parrot that same line. I'm not going to hurt you. Red rum.
He lunges at her and she wallops him in the skull and sends him crashing back down the steps, knocking his dumb ass out cold.
Yeah, pretty aggressive move. I think when they shot this movie, Shawn, I think she had to do like over 30 takes of like swinging that bat. So her arms must have been wiped out when they were done.
Now she's dragging his sandbagged ass through the kitchen. His head's cracked open. He's foaming at the mouth. And she locks him in the dry food storage with the Ritz crackers and the Oreos.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Shawn. What was in there? I
wafers.
sent you a picture the other day.
The Nilla wafers.
They had Nilla wafers, Tang, or not a lot of Oreos, by the way.
There were Oreos. There were. Jack
but not
had the
a lot.
Oreos. When Jack wakes up, he's got a stack of the Oreos.
Yeah, there wasn't as lot there. And Shawn, this is going to bring me to my moment that reminds me of something you sent me with The Simpsons, where Homer ends up getting locked in the dry storage, and he just keeps eating and eating and eating and eating until the ghost, right? The Grady just shows up, or who is it? Like Lloyd or
yeah.
Grady, and Mo shows up as Lloyd, saying like, "Come on, are you gonna do something or not?" And he's like, yeah,
"Not now,
awesome.
Eating.
Yeah,
can't kill family, eating." Wendy grabs a knife, biggest knife she could find in the kitchen. Jack realizes he's screwed. He's threatening Wendy. Then he's trying to get her to sympathize with his plight. He begs her not to leave, but she's gone. She's going to take the snowcat and take Danny to a doctor. But Jack laughs and says, "You're not going anywhere," and begins cackling like a madman. And they got that shot of him from underneath where it's looking up at him, and he's just like pounding on the door, and it's just so creepy.
What a crazy shot. And in that documentary, that short documentary, you see Kubrick laying on the ground with a little lens trying to figure out kind of how they'd get that shot the way he wanted it when Jack is doing it. But he is full on in abusive husband mode, right? He's pleading with her and kind of like, "I love you" sort of thing, and help me out. And then he's snapping right to, "Well, you're not getting out of here anyway." And I sabotaged this snowcat and da 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 da, and so. But I'm good for her that she's put him in there
She's over it.
and doing
She's
what she
done
needs
with
to do to
this.
take care of her son and herself.
So, like Vertebrae said, Jack pulled a Blair and the thing and tore the guts out of the helicopter. Jack completely tore apart the inside of the snowcat.
Yeah, I don't know what she picks up. Is that like a distributor cap or
Yeah,
something?
who knows? It's
I think
whatever it
that
is,
was,
it's cut
yeah.
and it ain't getting back on there.
No.
Now she's stranded, no way out, and no connection to the outside world. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to later, stupid Jack passed out in the storage locker, and someone's knocking at the door. It's Grady. Jack wakes up, and there he's got the peanuts and the Oreos, the big jug of peanut butter, even possessed by the evil spirits and Satan. Dude's in there munching and snacking. What a happy existence.
Fantastic. And then we get Grady starts talking to him like he's an evil Sith Lord here. Yeah, 100%.
Jack tells Grady he's in a bit of conundrum in this current situation he's in. Grady is almost joking with him. Seems like you're unable to take care of the business we discussed. Jack's like, don't rub it in, dude. I'll take care of it once I'm out of here. But Grady is doubtful, tells Jack, me and the others don't think you have the heart for it. You don't have the belly for it. Jack begs for one more chance. Grady says, Wendy is more resourceful. She's gotten the better of you. Only for a moment, Mr. Grady. Only for a moment. And I noticed that anytime Jack's talking to either Grady or Lloyd, he repeats himself. And I don't know why. I don't know if that's a thing, but he'll say a line and then he'll say the line again. And he does this multiple times throughout some conversations he has.
Yeah, I don't know. But Shawn, when he says the others, so these are ghosts, these are whatever, but I still think we're dealing with, if it's entities, multiple entities, they're teaming together, but I think there's kind of like a big bad here, right? I think there's definitely one sort of like evil that's pervading over all of it, and these are just puppets for that person or that thing.
The little ghost crew.
Yeah.
Grady tells Jack he will have to deal with this matter in the harshest possible way. Death. Jack says nothing he looks forward to with greater pleasure. Grady asks Jack to pinky swear on it, and he does, and Grady unlocks the door.
Yeah. So previously, we've had some stuff that's manifesting and maybe only Danny's seeing it, right? Then we get Danny's interaction with something in that room that actually leaves physical marks on his neck. Then we have Jack's interaction with the woman, which we don't know if that happened or not, or that's just in his head. But now we get something that actually impacts the physical space with the door opening. So it's just been getting stronger and stronger as it went along, because now they're able to even open this door. They're not able to actually do the killing themselves, but they're able to open the door.
We could have just unlocked this little thingy right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here comes Halloran. He's in the snowcat. He borrowed it from Larry. He's hauling ass up this mountain. Doesn't seem to be a radio in this thing. There doesn't seem to be heat in this thing. The windshield wipers on it are terrible. It just looks like a miserable ride.
Yeah, I wrote in here comes Halloran, ! This guy rules.
Yeah.
Like, he is so incredibly determined. He's met this family. I'm sure he's met other families that take care of it. There was something. He's got this connection to the child. And I will tell you that he just knows. Halloran knows, because we know that he's in the University of It, and he's run across some evil long before he worked at the Overlook. And he knows when something's not right. And he knows that from the beginning. And he's never comfortable when he gets to Miami. And here he is shooting back for them.
All of this work, it's just such a shame how it works out. Here comes creepy ass Danny muttering to himself, red rum. Red rum. He's hovering over Wendy as she's sleeping. Again, the eerie music is piercing in the background. Over and over, he's repeating, red rum, red rum. He picks up the knife that she grabbed from the kitchen, and he's touching the blade with his finger. He picks up her lipstick and heads over to the door and writes red rum with the backward R on it, like corn.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add corn, dead bodies everywhere to the In Madness Spotify playlist.
Are you ready? He
That's
could have
not
done
that
that.
song. That's a
I know,
different
but he could have
song.
done that with the little thing. Are you ready? With the finger.
Danny begins screaming, "Red rum, red rum." Wendy wakes up horrified at Danny holding the knife, screaming red rum in her face. I guess he's
How
trying
was she
to.
sleeping?
Yeah, in this situation, I guess he's trying to warn her that Jack is free and roaming the halls.
I mean, he could have said it a different
Yeah,
way
he could
than
have been
grabbing the
a
knife,
little
but
clearer.
he's letting her know she needs to grab the knife to protect.
Well, this is
herself.
Tony. It's Tony. It's not Danny. It's Tony. Maybe Tony doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
Wendy looks in the mirror and sees red rum backwards in the mirror, says murder. And slam, here comes an axe crashing through the door. It's Jack, and he's angry as hell.
I wish I would have seen this movie and not known that before I saw this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Red Rum before. I knew All Work and No Play before.
Yeah. I wonder what it was like to actually have seen it and be
Fresh.
like, dun, dun, dun. Yeah, murder. You know, because there's somebody sitting there going, I knew it all along. I knew it was a murder. But yeah.
Wendy takes Danny in the bathroom. She shoves him out the window. The snow outside. She can't fit out the window. Now she's trapped. Jack limps up to the bathroom door, gives a little knock, huffing and puffing till he's going to blow the house in. Wendy grabs the knife, and then we get one of the greatest scenes in horror history. Jack is slamming on the door with the axe, every single smash of the axe on the door. Wendy lets out the most horrified, murderous scream I have ever heard. There's one point where the whole head of the axe comes through the door. She lets out a scream and has this look of terror on her face, and she's clawing at the wall in total horror. It's the greatest acting I've ever seen in my entire life. Jack breaks through the door, pushes his face in, and we get the classic quote. Do you want to give it to me, Vertebrae?
Here's Johnny.
Jack sticks his hand inside to unlock the door, and Wendy, not giving a fuck, takes the knife and slices his hand. Yeah. Good for Wendy. Finally, some redemption for this woman.
Yeah, and Shelley Duvall says that this scene, she had said that it took 3 days to film and they use 60 doors.
Imagine having to break through 60 doors.
Yeah.
My arms would be cooked. Here comes Halloran pulling up to the hotel in the snowcat, and Wendy and Jack hear it pulling up because it's making a hell of a lot of noise. Danny makes his way back in the hotel out of the cold. He hides in the kitchen. Jack abandons his plan to kill poor Wendy, and now he's limping his way through the hotel to find out who is in the snowcat.
I love when he says, too, I'm home, when he first goes through. If you back up a little bit, he says, Wendy, I'm home, when he's first trying to get her. And it's that just adds to it right before he does like the little pigs thing. Yeah, it's cool.
Halloran walks in the hotel. The door's open. Not good. Halloran makes the grave mistake of giving up his position immediately the second he walks in. Hello? Anybody here? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Jack spots him. Halloran's walking down a long hallway. There's pillars on the left and right. Halloran keep screaming, hello? Anybody here? He's walking the corridor. He gets to the last column at the end of the hall. Out pops Jack, screaming like a maniac, chops Halloran right in the chest, dead. All that traveling, all that vacation, all that snow, all that everything, nothing, dead on the floor, over. Rest in peace, Dick Halloran.
What a bummer. That was a bummer. That's a bummer way to go. You know, early on in the movie, Shawn, we see that hallway and there is a small teddy bear in the hall, like laying, because there was toys around, laying on the floor in the exact spot that Halloran eventually lays in, and it has a red like jacket on, kind of foreshadowing Halloran's death. So, you know, everything is spoken for in this movie, but quite a bummer. In the book, Halloran lives. Place blows up. Halloran lives. We get Dr. Sleep. Halloran's in it. So, this is the only part of the movie where I wish could have been handled a little bit differently. But it's already a long film, so I don't know how you do it without it getting really longer. It's shocking, certainly, that he just dies,
So
but like,
this is
such an effort to get there, you know?
this whole time you're watching Jack waiting for him like to actually cross that line, and then
Mhm.
it finally happens here, and you're like, because the whole time you're like, maybe he won't, and maybe he could snap out of it. But once he plants
Mhm.
that axe, it's like that's it. That is it. He's got a
And
body now.
and I think for storytelling purposes, dramatic, and that's okay, we got it. I guess just for my love of Halloran as a character, it would have, if there was either more of a fight or I don't know, something. I think in
It's wild because it's such a long walk down the hallway, and the camera's just following him
Mhm.
and following him and following him, and then Jack just comes out screaming, and again, it's like the kang, 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 like the music hits so hard, and there's blood coming out everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so wild the way it goes.
And if you don't do that, Sean, then who did he actually kill? Nobody.
Nobody, yeah. Yeah.
Nobody, right? So maybe then he becomes more of a sympathetic character because maybe he just had some problems and this evil in the hotel is, feeding off of these problems. And it's kind of becomes sad then what happened to him. Once he does this, you don't become as sympathetic.
Danny screams in horror. He knows Halloran's dead. Jack finds Danny, and now he's chasing him with this axe.
Mm.
Wendy's climbing the stairs looking for Danny. This wild sort of chanting music is playing in the background again, making things tense as hell. And if the shit hasn't hit the fan enough already, Wendy steps off the stairs and sees a room with a door open. And we
Mhm.
get the legendary and yet still very confusing to me after all these years shot of a man in like a assless Winnie Pooh costume with the dog face giving, I guess, a blowjob to a guy in a suit.
Mhm. So this is, the guy in the dog costume whose name is Roger. Um, in this scene, they say that it's, he's acting as the submissive lover of this is supposed to be the hotel's former owner, Horace Derwent. So there's a lot in the book about Derwent and Derwent's behaviors and stuff. So I think they allude to that a little bit with this, but all of this just adds to
The weirdness.
the weirdness. Yep.
The man looks up as he's getting his BJ, and they all look at Wendy and stop in horror. And his music is crashing in the background. Her whole world is falling apart, also. So the hotel, Danny can see what's going on. The
Mhm.
hotel is now interacting with Jack. Jack can see what's going on. So now Wendy is seeing what's going on. Is this everybody having a bit of The Shining, or is this the hotel just letting itself loose and now it's people without The Shining, and now it's so haunted and the shit has hit the fan so much that you don't need The Shining. Now it's real. It's
I,
becoming real.
I feel like it's welcomed into the world by Jack. It's welcomed into reality by Jack. Danny had a sense of it because he's got these powers and it's welcoming, and we said it's increasing and getting stronger and stronger as it goes along. It moved a physical object and opening a door, and now the last stage is to reveal all the horror to her because it's almost like the building, the ghost, the whatever, this evil spirit, all bets are off now. This game is almost over.
Yeah, like you can't sleep in this hotel after
we're
seeing
gonna
these
we're
things.
gonna win. He's gonna get you. He's doing our work for us, and once again we get what we need. We feed off of this and we get what we need. So it's like, now I'll just either mess with you or we don't have to hide anything anymore. This is what it is.
Jack chases Danny outside into the elements. Danny heads into the hedge maze. Jack is limping after him with the axe, screaming his name, Daddy!
Mm.
Camera is chasing behind Danny, is running through the maze. We follow Jack on his hunt for Danny. He's following Danny's footsteps in the snow.
Mhm.
Back inside, Wendy finds Halloran dead. She turns around and finds a dead dude standing there in a suit with his head cracked open. Great party, isn't it? Wendy runs off horrified. She runs in the lobby. It's covered with cobwebs. There's skeletons sitting in the chairs.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Jack's having himself a bit of trouble finding Danny. Danny realizes Jack can see his footprints in the snow and starts backtracking and covering his footprints with snow.
Smart. Absolutely smart move there.
Wendy approaches the elevator doors, which seem to open and unleash this geyser of blood Danny's been seeing since the very beginning of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Danny's hiding from Jack, who's following Danny's footprints till they end. No Danny. Jack's looking around, angry, confused, cold, screaming. This goddamn horrifying music again playing in the background, making you tense as hell. Jack walks off to find Danny, who sneaks out of his little hidey spot and is now following his footprints backwards to get out of the hedge maze. Jack isn't so lucky. He goes left, he goes right, he's clutching his chest in the freezing cold, and he's just screaming for Danny.
And Shawn, I mean, maybe it's because we talked about the Simpsons, but couldn't Jack just use that axe and pick one direction and just keep chopping in the same direction? You'll eventually
seems like that'd be a lot of work to do in the cold.
But I mean, he could get through hedges, right? Can't you? How intense are they? You can kind of push through them. Yeah, he'd be all cut up, but yeah.
Wendy runs outside to Halloran Snowcat just as Danny pops out of the hedge maze. They're thrilled to see each other. They jump into Halloran Snowcat. Jack's yelling like an animal, not even real words. He's just groaning out loud. Yeah. He hears the Snowcat start, and finally, Wendy and Danny head off to safety. Jack's there, all alone, middle of the hedge maze, lost in his own madness, yelling like a caveman, but he's getting lower and moving slower, and finally stops for a momentary sit. Which ends up being a grave mistake, because the next shot brings us to the morning after, where Jack's corpse is frozen in the middle of the hedge maze, dead for now. Back inside the gold room, camera focus on a picture hanging up outside the room. Again, we hear this old-timey dance music. Camera pans over slowly to a picture hanging on the wall, and right in the middle is a picture of a large-ass group of people from a long time ago. Right in the middle of the life of the party, the caretaker. There's Jack, and the camera scrolls down, and we see it's a pic from the July 4th ball of 1921. Fade to black. The end. Awesome. I mean, this is incredible. So, like, what is this? Did my forever question, like a Krampus style? Are we trapped in this never-ending hell? He's coming back again, maybe. Till this day, I'm really not sure what it means. It still gives me every time I see it, I get chills. Like, he's the caretaker, right? He's always been the caretaker, I guess. He'll always be the caretaker, the same way Grady, I guess, appeared to Jack. Maybe Jack now shows up to the next caretaker, or maybe that's the ghost of Jack, or it's Jack again. I don't know. It raises a lot of questions, but maybe that's the whole point. Maybe it's supposed to be ending like The Thing, where there's no answer, and we just sit here and we're like, what is this until, the end of time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, that's cool with the photo. That's a real photo, and they had stripped him into that actual photo and put him in the center, which is very, very cool. But I don't know, Shawn. I think I'm going to tell you, there were numerous deleted scenes from this movie, and one of these scenes gives you your clue into Omen. So the most famous deleted scene they have is an epilogue for this film. So we see him freeze to death. He's outside. We would have faded to daytime, where there's police officers investigating the maze, Shawn. We're getting investigative bits. And then it would be cutting to Omen, who's now walking in a hospital corridor. And he goes in to see Wendy in the hospital. And then he informs her that the authorities couldn't find any trace of supernatural events
covered it up
she witnessed, nor Jack's body.
Oh, cover up.
And then Omen sympathizes with her by being like, anyone would have witnessed such hallucinations because of all the horrors you went through. And then on his way out, he says to Danny, "You almost forgot something," and he tosses him the tennis ball.
Oh, wow.
And that's how we end this movie.
I mean, that's not terrible. But I don't think we need it. I don't think we need all that.
We didn't, but that gives you all your omen that you
Mhm.
wanted, Shawn. He's
Mhm.
got the tennis ball. He knew what was happening. He's saying, you were hallucinating, da 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 da, you poor woman. And then looks at the kid who's got all the powers and knows he knows what's up and tells him, you forgot something. And then that's how we go. So I like the ending that they have, but I love this information. If that makes
Just
sense.
to know it is good.
Yeah.
Also, do we have a
exactly.
timeline from the date of arrival at the Overlook to the date of frozen popsicle outside the Overlook?
I don't know. Let's give it 7 days. No, it's longer than that.
No, it's because I remember it goes 1 month. There's a point where it turns black and it says 1 month later. But,
Yeah, I
like,
don't know.
was this like a 2-month ordeal or like a month and 3 weeks? And Jack is just like, I'm crazy.
Yeah, I think it was over a couple months, I think, right?
I don't know. I don't know. That's when I was laughing to myself because I was like, what if it was like us in like 4 hours or 4 days this all happened? But
Yeah.
it was at least a month and change because then it says 1 month, but then it goes like Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So could be a month and a week, you know?
Yeah. You know what's crazy too, Shawn, is that ending was changed. So it was already in theaters for a full weekend when they cut that scene out.
Also, they had the almond ending.
Yeah.
So
It
how
was
do you
filmed and
so
it's
what
there.
made them change it?
I don't know. Maybe the hotel didn't want people to know.
Yo, so you think it was a real the hotel told Kubrick, "You better take that ending out."
So supposedly the film, the screenplay exists with this in it, but the actual scenes don't. But in post-production, this happened a lot for Kubrick, where he would change the endings of films, but not where it had been changed, been in a theater already for a weekend. Which is crazy because there's somebody who saw it that first weekend who
Swears to God, this is how the
before DVDs and they saw it at home, were talking to other people, telling them, about the movie
and
because that's
everyone's
the only
like,
way you
"No,
can
you're
talk to them.
crazy.
You're
It's not
lying.
in
I
there."
just saw that this weekend. There's nothing with Omen in it
So
at the end.
funny.
I don't even understand. Yeah. So,
That
I
was
mean,
it.
listen, there's a ton of theories on this movie. The documentary Room 237, lots of theories about that this is about the genocide of Native Americans. Some theories about it being about the Holocaust and concentration camps. Obviously, lots of mental health kind of theories and general, like this is the devil or this is a certain evil. I'd be very curious to see what people think. It is a movie that you can continue to slice up. I will, no pun intended, slice up. Continue to look at this book and try to get through the making of it. Maybe in a future episode I could discuss anything that pops up, but
There's so much. We can't hit
too
it
much.
all in these 2 episodes.
There is probably, and I didn't look it up, but I bet you there's a Shining podcast that just sits around and talks about
Every aspect.
and dives this down. There is a format that I like with podcasts, these minute by minute podcasts, where they take 1 minute of a movie and they just dissect the whole episode. It's like 20 minutes or so of 1 minute. And if it doesn't exist for The Shining, Shawn, it should. Just
There's a
1
lot of
minute,
minutes in there, yeah.
how it starts, how that minute ends, talk about it for 15, 20 minutes. Pretty cool. Should look it up. Nobody did it. Maybe we should do it.
Well, now you put it out in the stratosphere, so
Damn.
we've been screwed again.
Somebody's gonna steal it, like one of our band names.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Yeah, they're using The Shining right now to take all of our ideas. We did it. Episode 151, The Shining. We finally hit it. We finally wrapped it up. I want to know your first time seeing this movie, your first time experiencing this movie, your theories, your thoughts about the ending of this movie, your favorite scene, whatever it is, on the socials at inmadnesspod@gmail.com for emails and voice notes. Let us know. very important you interact and discuss these films with us. That is the whole reason we started this podcast and growing this family. It is great that all the movies we have covered, I forget sometimes that we have covered some of the amazing movies that we have done and said promised we get to and have finally hit. And there's more big ones coming up. Vertebrae's been letting me know. So
I'm teasing you. But Shawn, most importantly, you need to write in and tell us Oreos or Nilla wafers. You're trapped in that closet. Depends on the day of the week.
No way. Oreos 1,000 million infinity %, just infinitely better.
But don't you when you eat Nilla wafers,
is like a grandma's house snack,
right? But it feels like you're eating something a little healthier. When
you're eating canned cookies, I'm not trying to be healthy. I want Oreos, and I'm gonna put some peanut butter.
You know what I'm
Oreos.
gonna do, Shawn? I'm going to take off the top of the Oreo.
That's what I do.
Because Mr. Combo Pack here, and I am going to replace it with a Nilla wafer.
Oh, okay. I'm down with that.
How about that?
So Nilla wafer top, Oreo bottom.
Yeah.
I get down behind that.
I mean, it doesn't have to be top or bottom. You could turn it over. It could be the other way.
Bottom top. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But I mean, part of it will still be an Oreo. Yeah, no,
absolutely.
I like mixing chocolate with things. See? I'm down with that. But no, I would take the Oreos. I'd be dipping them in peanut butter, cookie butter, hazelnut butter.
Shawn and I jump on here, and then we do this absolutely amazing movie, and we talk about this amazing director, and then it just comes back out of what snacks. Absolutely. You got snacks? This sounds great. We love some snacks. We got to do some murdering to get these snacks. I don't know about that.
What's the salt option like? What do we got? What are we working with? Pretzels, popcorn, cheese.
You know what, Shawn?
Cheese doodles. What kind of cheese doodles? Because I'm more of the puff kind of cheese. If we're doing the crunchy, I don't know if I'll murder for the crunchy, but for the puffs, I'll murder whoever I need to murder.
What about cheese? I think cheese balls probably.
But you telling me the gallon bucket, the toilet bowl bucket of cheese balls?
They're a little salty.
The best. I went to we did a sleepover. I had a sleepover at Charlie's in Madness Penitentiary once, and this was a couple years ago, and my gift to the house was I just showed up with the big jar of Utz cheese balls, and it was wiped out by the next morning.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I lean towards party mix. I'm a big party mix guy.
Yeah, it's all right. There's a couple things of party mix that I could do without. Like I like handfuls of party mix. I'm more of just like a pretzel cheese doodle mix without corn chip. I don't need the corn chip.
You never had my famous 7 mega mix where I put Megadeth on and put all this together, Shawn, and whip it up. You've never had that. The 7 mega mix.
When you give me my damn Pennywise cup, and when I eventually see you one day, you have to make me the mega mix.
Quite a display.
And we'll sit in the igloo, but we're supposed to get snow, so we'll see what happens. Maybe we do that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But listen, the next episode, we're not doing a movie.
No.
But then after that, we're doing
a
Shawn pick.
Oh, I haven't even thought about it. Oh, you know what?
He hasn't picked yet.
You might have decided it for me.
Oh no.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't know. Let me think about it.
Oh no. What could it be?
It's something you texted to me, and it would be timely and topical and very relevant.
Homeward Bound.
It's not really a horror movie.
What? Homeward Bound?
Yeah.
No. Free Willy?
No, it's certainly not The Godfather.
Oh, it's not The Godfather. Shawn's angry about The Godfather. We'll talk about that in another episode. But all right.
You got your bits in. You're happy with The Shining.
I mean,
finally hit it.
Some bits in. When you ask me in other episodes if I got all your gnarly bits in, I did. On this one, I got some of them in. I certainly didn't want to bog us down with just stopping you and being like, hey, this part of the pattern of the floor also alludes to this and that. I think there's plenty of that out there already. And I'm not done with this movie. I'm going to keep reading this book that I got.
I don't think we're done talking about that. Just because we finished this now doesn't mean we never talk about The Shining as long as the podcast exists.
No, and I think we've now added it to our canon, to our pantheon of films, which means when we have our next guest on and we ask them about their horror movies, we're adding The Shining. We want to know what they think of The Shining. So, yeah, awesome. So we'll see you guys next week for an epic rant.
Yep.
And good times.
And my movie pick. God damn, I got homework to do now. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I feel like I should watch this movie before I recommend it in case I don't like it. It's not even on our list. It's not even on our wonderfully organized Excel document.
Cocaine Bear 2.
No. Gone in 60 Seconds, a true classic. And with that, we will see you next week for whatever the hell we're doing. Maybe we have a guest. I gotta reach out to a guest again and see what happens. Or maybe we'll just dick off in the mail sack. We got a couple emails to read.
Yeah, we should do the mail sack, and I've got a rant. And
mail sack and rant coming up.
There it is.
Next week in Madness Pod. Tell your friends. We'll see you next week.